Hey everybody, welcome back to another video here at DFD Mastery. Super excited to have my guest with us, Scott Dalinger. You guys may recognize his face. He was on a previous video. He currently holds the record for the biggest wholesale deal that myself or any of my students have ever done. $113,000 profit, is that correct?
Yeah.
Yep. So fantastic stuff. But guess what, guys? This business isn't always rainbows and butterflies. Sometimes mistakes are made and it causes us some pain and frustration. So we're actually going to deep dive some mistakes that's happened to Scott and same mistakes that I have personally made in my business as well. So my hope from this video today, this interview is to understand that yes, we can be successful, but yes, there's still lessons to be learned. And so hopefully you can take the mistakes that both Scott and I have made and not make them yourself. So we'll deep dive this. But before we dive into it, if any of you that are listening are needing to find more discounted properties, you're frustrated and discouraged, which I completely understand because you're spending more than you're making. It doesn't have to be that way. That's why we share our marketing system, DFD Mastery. We have a live webinar completely free. It's going to be in the show notes. You can join us on that live webinar and I'll go into depth on how you can find more off-market discounted properties. But let's dive into this. Scott, welcome, man. Thanks for coming back to the YouTube channel.
Thanks, Zach. Yeah, I'm excited to be here. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, for sure. So I know we talked a little bit offline, talking about trying to go have some fun, do a little fly fishing, have a good time. But you shared some cool news. You have a new addition coming to the family.
We do, yes. My wife Alejandra is pregnant, and she works in my business. She's a superstar, and due on September. It's September 11th. We have a baby boy, our first.
That's
And
so
we're
fun.
really looking forward to that. She's looking forward to the pregnancy being over soon, and we're definitely looking forward to meeting our son.
Nice, nice. Well, I love it. Yes, family is everything. That's fun. You're having a little boy. Man, they're everything. They make all of our hard work worth it. Watching my little children, the little sponges that they are, take in everything. They're everything. So congratulations. We're excited for you. But let's dive into this real estate content. So Scott had some explosive success out the gates. And I remember messaging you, and you decided to do something with your business and tried to take on some strategies. So you want to share what you did and what, kind of how things got out of whack for you and what you feel like you'd learned. Do you want to share that with us?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm pulling up my numbers for last year, and we'll see if I get that all the way pulled up during this call. But so essentially last year, I think it was a couple $100,000 that we ended up doing from Driving for Dollars. We started last year. When did you kick off your program, Zach?
It was actually towards the
May.
end of 2018. So you were one of my first students. I think you came in the very beginning of 2019 though.
Okay. Okay. So we did the big deal, and then we did other deals, 15,000, 20,000, several of those, and we ended up a couple $100,000 for the year from Driving for Dollars. And what Zach's talking about is we decided to do our first flip. So I got a wholesale deal under contract for $200,000 in my market of Portland, Oregon, and around here, like a starter home, which is what this was, like blue collar neighborhood, 1,000 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom. The ARV is about 300,000, and rehabs are expensive in my market. They're like, for a house like that, it costs a flipper 50 grand. So that's not a lot of wholesale spread. I thought, okay, I might not be able to wholesale this deal, 200 grand purchase price to 300 ARV. Maybe I can make 10,000 on it, maybe 15 if I'm lucky. But I was looking at the numbers and looking at the house. I said, this house doesn't need a whole lot. It's basically like a hoarder home, but just take the stuff out, clean it up, and I could put this right back on the market for like 280. So, and one of my original goals getting into real estate was to flip a house. So I'm like, this will be great. I could make a much bigger profit. It'll be a really entry-level flip, and I could cross off something I've wanted to do for a long time, flip a house, which seemed like a big thing, like a big deal. So we decided to buy it and then go about flipping it. So that's where we started to hit some challenges. First,
just hold on a sec. I love the optimism, right? Like if anyone's been in this business and goes from wholesaling to flipping, they go, oh, flipping is easy, right? A little paint, a little carpet. You're never going to have problems, right? Everything's going to go smoothly. I'm going to make more money, right? So sorry, go ahead. I just think it's funny because I've been there and it's been a nightmare for me. So go ahead.
I don't know if paint and carpets exist. Those flips like after done this. So what happened was we got a contractor, and right around the same time, we kept another wholesale deal for ourselves, a really juicy deal in a great neighborhood. And we did some seller financing on that one. And that one we decided to keep for us. So
like personal house or
personal house, yeah.
Cool. All right.
We had always been renting. I've never owned a house, but kept a wholesale deal in a great neighborhood with huge spread. And so now
that's how I'm living right now. I'm living in a cherry pick deal for my pipeline. Yeah. Awesome. Cool.
It's amazing. So
yeah.
So now I'm at a point where I acquired 2 fixer-uppers at the same time. And I made a big mistake of hiring the same contractor for both properties. So he came, I met him at a real estate networking event. My agent recommended him, and we met him. He seemed like he knew what he was talking about. He seemed like a really nice guy. And we saw one of his new construction properties, and we thought, this guy, he has really nice finishes, and he has a lot of experience. So we just decided to go with him. And this is not one of those stories where he cheated us or anything like that. He's, we still think he's a nice guy, an ethical guy, but progress on both houses just dragged. And there was weeks that went by, several weeks even, where nothing discernible was happening. And as a complete novice and rookie at flipping, I didn't know, it didn't seem right, but I kind of believed that his excuses, there's always a reason, there was always an excuse, or I'm trying to get my guys out there. He would manage subcontractors, our subs are really busy on other stuff. I'm trying to get there, not there next week. Then it wouldn't happen. So I just sort of bought the excuses day after day, week after week. And after a while, after a couple months, I was like, not much has happened. And I just decided to let him go off of both projects.
And you have hard money out. So the one's seller finance, your personal house, yes. And you're renting and having to pay for that house.
That's right.
Right. So you've got basically two payments to survive at this point. Yeah. And then the other one, do you have hard money? What kind of financing did you get to buy the $200,000 flip?
So I got a hard money loan to purchase it, and then a $15,000 rehab account.
So the more time that's going by, the more and more it's eating into your profits, right? So this is what you're dealing with. Okay.
Yeah. Now we ran our numbers before, so we expected there to be a certain holding period.
What was your projection?
Well, we thought it'd take us a month. Let's go conservative and put 2 months of holding in there.
This is too funny. Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
And we did 15,000 since we really thought it was just going to be paint and carpets, which would be like $5,000 or $6,000, and then a little buffer in there. So 15,000 should be more than enough. That was vastly underestimated as well. So after we fired the contractor, we didn't have another contractor. We didn't really know a lot of people, so we just started to find random people off of Craigslist. And I remember this, a buddy came into town and we went skiing, and I had a random Craigslist guy that I found going in to demo the vanity. And then I get a call from this guy, and he's like, your side door was unlocked. He said, I made the executive decision. I put on a deadbolt. And he's like, oh, that ugly wainscoting that you have in the bathroom, I made an executive decision and ripped that off also. So I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I going to walk into when I come home? And this random Craigslist dude, he's like a hippie from Santa Cruz, California, turned out to be a
He's in there. He's in there smoking crack, just going ham on your house.
like sticking Crosby, Stills and Nash on repeat and saying right on. And this guy,
No
you know,
way, dude.
he in a few days like redid the bathroom with a Home Depot vanity and made it look a million times better. And that's kind of how we did it. We got random dudes off of Craigslist to put in, you know, to finish everything, like put in door locks and door handles. And we did get a recommended tile guy that did an awesome job. We hired a company to do countertops. So I hired a painting company off of Craigslist, and they gave me a good price. I hired them to paint the inside and outside, and they walked off the job about 75% of the way through. And that last 25% is like a lot of work, which is what we ended up doing. I was up on ladders painting trim and like taping and Home Depot. Because at that point, our mindset was like, yes, and we know that we're neglecting the wholesaling business, but we need to make money on this flip. Otherwise, this is going to be a waste of experience. So we didn't want to set about, our options were, you know, let's interview new general contractors, set about hiring them. You know, they get oriented with the project and that'll take them some time to start. Or let's just finish this. You know, let's get a handyman in here to tighten everything up. We'll pick up paintbrushes and screwdrivers and like do what we can. So we opted for the latter. We were just trying to get it done, you know?
Right.
And we were
did
always,
you make money at least?
Yeah, we did. We did really well on it.
Okay, so you made good money. That's fine. But how long did you know roughly what your net profits were on that deal roughly?
I'm guessing, and this is another thing. I'm not great at.
So that's not good. It's a guessing, right? Like,
yeah, I know. So I'm guessing anywhere from 40 to 50.
Okay, so definitely made some money on it. But how long did that flip take you?
It was about 4 months.
Okay, so you did a deal where you made $113,000 selling a piece of paper, basically, right? Like, matter of a couple days, and you made maybe $40,000 in 4 months, painting, working your butt off, frustration, stress, right? Lots of risk because you had hard money. Plus you were dealing with personal house that you're trying to fix up to move into, and dealing with all that, right?
You know, we're neglecting that one to do the flip.
Exactly.
My wife also, Alejandra, you know, she's pregnant. She was working on the flip, you know, doing good and like managing the people. And yeah, so it was a lot of work. We were hands-on probably every day for about 6 weeks.
Right.
And now it's been ingrained into me, never stop marketing. So I never stopped the marketing with my wholesaling business. I just wasn't able to effectively handle all those leads and follow up with them.
Yeah, follow-up, huge.
The money's in the follow-up.
So much. 80% of your deals are going to come from follow-up, not from, hey, they call your card. Yes, they want to sell now. They're, oh, well, we're thinking about it. Yeah, we've got to deal with this and probate and blah, 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 right? There's things you got to work through. So I know for a fact you left money on the table by doing the flip. But Scott, I've been there, man. I've done it a lot. I feel like I've done all the mistakes because I'm an idiot and don't want to learn from other people. So I did the same thing, dude. I was like, oh, this deal's so good. I'm only going to get like a $25,000 assignment. There's like 75, 80 grand on the bone. By the time it was all said and done, I made like $5,000 more than I would have made just wholesaling it. And then worst of all, it took me like 6 or 7 months to finish the flip. I had these meth cooking, just terrible human beings in that house that were threatening me and my family. I had to call the cops. I had the cops at the house when I was there, you know, throwing their crap away into the dumpster because they were threatening to come kill us. Like, dude, it was the biggest nightmare ever. And I'm not saying that you can't make money as a flipper. That is not what I'm saying to you or to anyone listening to this, right? What I'm saying is real estate investing, as I see it, is a business of finding discounted properties. If you can consistently find discounted deals, you can make money. And if you that are listening love flipping, you're like the HGTV guru, and you're Chip and Joanna Gaines, okay? Like you're the fixer-uppers of all fixer-uppers. And that's your passion. That's what you love to do. That's what I want you to do. I have a video coming out here in a couple days. It'll probably be out before this video, where I interviewed a flipper from my market. He flips houses in 7 days, full remodels, full flips, 7 days. He's a beast. And he's done handfuls of them. He did 4 houses, 4 real big houses right next to each other in 7 days. 7 days. He's a freak, right? And normal flips take anywhere between 20 and 30 days, but he's like, I just want to show that it can be done this fast, right? He's a rock star. He loves it. He's got an amazing business, but his business is flipping. He doesn't necessarily focus as much on sourcing deals himself with his own marketing and that kind of stuff. He leans on wholesalers and relationships with agents and things like that. People bring him deals and he does the flips. It's a business all in its own. And so like I said, the business is finding discounted properties. And then if you want to make money by selling the deals off to flippers or wholesaling, or if you want to be a flipper and do less deals because you're doing flipping, or you can keep them as rentals, or you can do, what do you call them? Vacation rentals, right? There's lots of ways to turn a deal into money, right? You can demo it and do, depending on zoning, you can add high density housing. There's people that only focus on deals that have higher use than what the current use is. Like there's lots of ways to turn a deal into more money, right? Those are exit strategies is what they call them. But the funny thing is a lot of times wholesalers, they start to have some success in finding discounted deals and making great profits and making great money. And they go, hey, wait a minute, I'm leaving money on the table. Flipping houses is not hard. Like
it is a totally different skill set. It's a totally different side of your brain. And it's not just even about the houses, it's setting up a whole new business structure. Like you got to figure out, hey, what do I do with all these receipts in my car and in my wallet? How do I do the booking thing?
Just the fact that you said, how much did you make? You're like, well, I'd have to guess, right? Just that alone shows that you're not a flipper, right? A flipper would be like, well, let me pull out my spreadsheet, right? And he would have all of itemized expenses and exactly how much he paid in interest and all of it. He would know to the penny what he netted, right? And he would know that for future use to get private money lined up and those kinds of things. So the business of flipping houses is a business all in itself. And so I want to share with you, Scott, and with the audience what I've just set up to be able to monetize on the deals that have more profits. So there's a couple reasons I set this structure up. First of all, just like that house that I said I made like 5,000 more than I would have, but there was a huge spread, right? I threw away all that money because I didn't have a good contract. I didn't have a good system. I didn't have really good private money lined up. I could have made way more money on that deal, or a better flipper could have made more money on that deal. So I'll give you an example of 2 of the deals that we have under contract with this flipper. So one of the problems with flipping a house when you're a wholesaler is you're spending all this money for marketing and you don't get paid until the deal closes 2-3 months out, right? If you're really good. And that's a problem because you need more money to spend on marketing, right? Cash flow. You run into cash problems. And one of the things that I was able to structure with this flipper is if we find an off-market deal that you want to flip, you pay us our full assignment and we still get an equity percentage in the deal.
Wow.
Right? Isn't that attractive? Because he's got all of the great cheap private money lined up. 10% interest is all. 1 point. He's got the teams in place, the subcontractors. He can do 2 flips a month, 30 days.
So do you just give him a fair buy it now price instead of sending it out to bid in return?
No, we send it out. We send it out to our entire cash buyers list always.
Okay.
And then we go to him and go, okay, we take highest and best, but we go, do you want to flip this deal? Are you interested in this deal? And he's like, probably not a deal that I see a lot of profits.
Mm-hmm.
We go, okay, that's fine. And we wholesale it. But if we go, okay, this is a deal. Do you want to flip it? Oh, I really like this one. I like the market. I'm very comfortable with it. I'm very much interested. I would pay you this. Right. And if it's close to our highest offer, we have, because we don't shop offers, right? We don't shop offers because that burns bridges. So if we say our highest offer is 150 and he offers 150 and goes, yeah, I would split the profits on the back end and I'd give you 150 or I'd give you 140 or 145. It's like, okay, we are going to make most. That's our highest and best offer. It's a little less up front, but we're going to make more on the back end. And he gives us projections of what his back end profits are going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So we just did a deal with him where it was kind of a funky area, but our time frame, we had very little time frame. So we actually didn't have time to send it to our cash buyers list. So we're like, hey, let's go look at this property. We called up 4 other flippers that we know that are interested in that area. All 4 of those other people didn't even want to make an offer. And luckily he's like, yeah, I'm interested. He paid us, I can't remember if it was he paid us $15,000 up front. And we've got, I think we have a 40% equity on the back end, which should make us about another $15,000. So we had a deal that probably we never would have made a dime, and we've guaranteed 15 with another potential 15 over the next few months. The other deal we did that we closed on Friday, we got it for $78,000. He paid us $150 up front.
50.
So 150. Yeah. So we made what? 70-ish thousand.
Wow.
What is that? 75-ish, right? How much did we make? 70. What is that? 80. And then, yeah. So 70,000. So we got a 70,000 assignment, and then we have a 50% equity on the back end on that deal. So
how would you suggest someone go about finding someone like why would someone do that? Why would a flipper do that?
Why would a flipper do that? Okay, so imagine you, right? You said it takes a whole different personality type to love flipping houses. But there are people out there are flippers that love flipping. They love the project. They love the houses. They love budgeting and spreadsheets, but they hate dealing with the sellers. They hate dealing with the marketing and the marketing budgets and having to source deals. They hate having to compete with other cash buyers, buying through wholesalers, right? So we found someone that goes, I love flipping houses. I want to flip houses. I don't need to make an absolute fortune on every deal, just as long as the deals are flowing and I'm making my money, right? And we go, great. We don't want to flip. I don't want to figure out the private money. I don't want to figure out the processes. I don't want to deal with the subcontractors. I don't want to do the evaluations on, I don't want to deal with it. So it's a mutually beneficial situation. So what I do is I suggest you find your cash buyers that love what they're doing, that are great at flipping, that are consistently flipping and making good money. And you'll find them by talking to them and doing deals. And then what I suggest is you ask them, how are you sourcing your deals? Right? Because if they say, oh, it's here and there, I'm getting them this, or if they're like, oh, I've got a pretty good marketing system, I do postcards, I do this, and they're actually out there doing what wholesalers do as well, they're probably not the best fit, right? But it's okay to fill people out and kind of throw an idea their way. So whenever you approach anybody with a potential opportunity, even when you're like, approaching a seller with a situation to solve their problem, or building a relationship with someone to do flips for you where you get an equity percentage in it. The way I would approach this and be like, hey, I really like what you're doing. I think, you love doing flips. I hate doing flips, but I would like to capitalize on some of the profits that can be done flipping some of the deals I find. So tell me if you hate this idea. You may completely hate this idea. That sentence is key, right? Because you're just throwing out a hypothetical situation that they don't feel like they're rejecting you if they reject the idea, right? But if you just make them a hard offer or a hard idea and they say, no, I don't like it, they kind of feel like they're pushing you away, and it kind of will make the situation go sideways. So then you approach them with that structure of the deal. It's like, well, for me, I can find off market deals and I would like to get into flipping, but I don't have the systems, I don't have the resources, and you do. The other problem with flipping for me is I don't have money coming in to pay for my marketing. It's extremely expensive. So if someone could pay me an assignment up front, right, which may be a little bit less than what I could sell it for just selling it to another flipper, and then you're going to get in at a lower price, which makes less risk for you. Then we split the profits afterwards, right? And obviously it's just going to be a deal by deal basis, and we want you to be profitable, but we'd like to make a little bit more per deal. But you're going to have consistent deal flow, and we can manage that for you, right? And just see what they say. You're going to have to find the right fit for your business. It's just like finding an acquisition manager, finding the right cold caller, finding the right driver for your driving for dollar system, right? It's just adding another team member.
Yeah.
But
Cool.
yeah, it's
I was
crazy.
thinking, like, if I'm a flipper, what's in it for me to give up all that equity? But it's basically having an edge on their competition on getting these deals.
Yep, consistent deal flow, right? And for a flipper, that's gold, right? Like I do 2-3 deals every single month always because I've got Scott Dalinger in my back pocket. And you go, I make an average extra $20,000 a deal, 2 deals a month because I got Joe Flipper in my back pocket. You guys have each other in each other's back pockets, right? It's a mutually beneficial relationship. So that's what we've recently set up, and we're super excited about it. But man, it is a game changer because, I mean, think about all the times you need to get fast cash offers today, right? Like 48 hours or you're going to miss out on the deal because you're competing with flippers themselves, right? So it's definitely something that we've added. It's pretty crazy. I mean, last Friday we closed on 2 deals. We made $85,000. We got one contract this morning that's got some fire damage where we got our flipper going over there to look at it, but we're going to make anywhere between 50 and 80 on that deal. Like it's crazy what we've got going on right now. But it's because of these relationships that we're putting together, right? My acquisition manager's killing it. My driver's killing it. But we've put the right people in the right places where they're just so excited about the opportunity. And I've structured every relationship in my business or partners outside of my business that if we succeed, they succeed, and vice versa. But yeah, I don't want to be a flipper, right? I don't want to be involved in managing projects. And it has been, I've tried flipping 1, 2, 3 houses all on my own. I've lost money on my first. I made $5,000 more than my wholesale fee. So really, and I would have made more money working at McDonald's literally for minimum wage, the amount of time I spent on that, which is crazy. Like it's just stupid because, the amount of money that I can make from just wholesaling, like I said, I made $85,000 on Friday. I never went on an appointment. I never spent a single minute of my own time on that.
There's a reason why there's wholesalers, and there's a reason why there's flippers.
Exactly.
For the most part, a person shouldn't be both.
Exactly. It's just like, I give this analogy. So have you ever watched Big Tuna? I think it's what it's called. I can't remember.
Tuna Wars. I think I know the one.
Tuna Wars. That's what it is. Tuna Wars. I was thinking Big Tuna from The Office, probably. Yeah. He calls Jim Big Tuna.
That's right.
Anyways, I love The Office. My favorite show on the whole planet. So, you've got the tuna fisherman that goes out and gets his fish, right? Catches his fish. He's all excited. Oh, this fish is going to make us this much. He drives his boat. The fish is on ice to keep it good. He drives his boat to the dock, stops his boat. There's people right there with a crane for the convenience of the fishermen, hook up these, 200-300 pound fish, lift the fish up, weigh them, cut a little section of the fish, check the quality, and go, okay, your fish is valued at this much. Here's your money. Boom. Fisherman takes his check or his cash, puts it in his pocket, and goes home to his family, right? He gets to do what he loves doing, what he specializes in. He has his expenses with his boats and his staff on his boat, and that's what he knows and what he's good at, right? He's a great fisherman. But then that person there takes that fish and maybe cleans it or processes it and sends it to either the sushi places, right? Sells it to sushi restaurants or sells it to the cannery to make tuna fish, depending on the quality of the tuna, right? They evaluate and have buyers lined up to manage that, right? And then the cannery cans it and sells it in a can, or the tuna restaurants or the sushi restaurants cut it up and make tuna or make their sushi, right? And sell it to their customers. And overall, everyone has their specialty and everyone profits with their own niche. And so I totally believe that real estate is a business of finding deals, because if there's not people out there sourcing deals, no one makes money. Realtors don't list houses, right? Flippers don't flip houses. Contractors don't have work. Title companies aren't closing deals, right? It all starts with finding and sourcing a deal. And then everyone else is going to benefit in their area of expertise. And so if you want to tap into another source, you partner. So one example is, okay, I'm the tuna fisherman and I found a sushi restaurant. So if I if I catch a tuna that fits the criteria for this sushi shop, they're going to pay me the same amount that the docks are going to pay me. But for my convenience of getting that deal, that tuna directly to them, they're also going to pay me 25 or 50% of the gross sales that week from their, do you know what I mean? Like, because they built that relationship and built that, but they didn't go start their own sushi bar, right? They didn't go build the store and put those chairs in and hire the staff and, start their own sushi company. They just partnered with the existing sushi company, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. And just to tail back around to flipping, maybe I haven't learned my lesson because I'm flipping another one right now.
Oh, stop it, Scott. Goodness.
This one is another one. I told myself carpets and paint, but it's in Beaverton, which is where Nike is. Nike and Intel is, like 1995 house. It doesn't need a whole lot. And we got a contractor
that we're
serious with now. So that's another one. I could have wholesaled for 10. We should make 50 grand on it, 60 grand on it. And so far I've been completely hands off. My wife Alejandra is just managing the contractor. I did the budget and that's it. And we'll see how this one goes. But I learned,
well, if you do it enough, if you do it enough, you'll get systems, right? And you can be successful at flipping. I'm not saying that you can't have two different businesses. I have a wholesaling business and I have a coaching business, right? So yes, I have two different businesses, but what I would suggest to you, Scott, I'm going to give you some coaching right here. So I learned this from one of my mentors and from the book Traction, right? You've been a part of Next Level Wholesaling, right?
Have not.
You have not. So Todd Toback, one of my mentors, teaches a course in Next Level Wholesaling, not getting paid to mention his name. He's just fantastic. So he talks about the importance of, if you're going to start another business, you need to make sure all resources are completely separate, meaning your staff is separate. So if Alejandra is helping you with your wholesaling business, sourcing deals, whatever, she has responsibilities here, and then you use her in this business, it's going to pull her attention away. It's going to pull her focus away, right? Or money or resources. I'm going to give you an example of a very large company. So I'm friends with a guy. He actually was the one that financed my very first flip that I lost money on. He got his money like promised, but I paid out of my own pocket to do that flip. His family has a large oil well company. So not oil wells, but what do you call them? Like frack water, garbage wells. So basically when they dig for oil, they use water, call it water fracking. I don't know much, right? I know very little about very little, but I do know that they then take this water filled with chemicals and it would pollute if they just let it go, right? So they have these wells that are like a mile deep, and they have to shoot all this water down under the water table to keep it from polluting the water table and so forth, right? So they're making all this money, just crushing it. They have 2 or 3 wells, and that's what they specialize in. But they're paying this trucking company to ship all of this water, right, to all this fracking water to their well. And they have this bright idea. Well, why don't we go get some debt, buy some trucks and monetize on that? But guess what? A trucking business is a whole different business. So then what happened is we had the oil crisis, right? The 2015. And guess what happened? No one was fracking, right? No one was drilling for oil anymore because oil prices dropped. So what happened? So they have all these trucks just parked. right? And they have
Dude,
debt.
literally the same thing happened with my brother just now with coronavirus. He got into trucking and bought a couple big rigs, and took out loans for them.
Yeah.
Coronavirus hit, beef prices went down. There's no trucks anymore.
Yep.
Same situation.
So basically what happened to keep their business from going out of business, they had to basically sell like 80% of their business to private investors. So they basically, private investors took on that trucking debt and got 80% of their business, their existing business. Then what happened is a lot of other businesses went out of business. And so they were able to pick up oil wells for 50 cents on the dollar. So they went and did that. And now they're doing really well, but now they only have 20% of a very beautiful business, where if they would have just stayed in their lane and profited and put money away and went, oh, look, our business is oil, dispense wells, whatever you call them, I don't even know, and just focused on that, then when crap hit the fan, there would have been lots of these oil wells and just, garbage wells. They could have picked up for 60 cents, 50 cents on the dollar. They would have bought those. Oil prices come back and boom, they're cranking. They know their business. But they took the resources and leveraged an existing business to do another business. So when this business failed, instead of letting this business go under, it affected the existing business that was profitable. How painful is that? So what I'm saying is, you have a successful wholesaling business that's profiting, is paying for your life and everything else, and you're trying to get flipping going, and you're doing it at the expense of this business. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if you really wanted to get into flipping, what you need to do is you need to
We
go,
don't,
okay,
by the way.
what's that?
Yeah, I say I don't want to be a flipper. It's the last thing I want
Okay.
to do.
Well
But
then,
sometimes it's good to pass up.
then I suggest is you go build that relationship in deals like this, where you're only going to get a $10,000 assignment fee, but there's another $50,000 on the table. You then go to a flipper and say, I want my 10,000 now for cash flow, but I want 30%, 50%. It doesn't have to be 50% of every deal, but I want to get a portion of that. Then he does the work, he manages it. I mean, how expensive and how much time would it take to train an employee to be like these flippers out there that can flip a house in 7 days, right? It's like, it would almost be impossible. So you just take the existing, sushi bar and just say, here's the tuna. Give me my money the docs would have give me, and then give me a little bit afterwards too. And then I can stay out of the game of flipping. If you don't want to be a flipper, take that strategy.
I like it.
All right. Love it. Well, everyone, hopefully you guys got a ton of value out of this. Scott's an amazing guy, and super fun that he had the same problem that I had, so we could deep dive this together and share it with you guys. So anyways, if you guys enjoyed this, make sure you like and subscribe, and hofully I'll see you on the live webinar. I usually do those every week, and we'll deep dive how you can find more discounted properties in your own market at dfdmastery.com. Thanks for joining us, Scott. Thanks again, and you have a wonderful day.
Thanks, Zach. You too.